Hello, Jen. We're back. This is Freedom 101, and I'm going to try to get through this as fast as I can. This is in consideration of the state and who the people are. It is 1867. There was a civil war between the northern and southern states. It's not important to know right now the reason why. Some say it was for the secession of states or states' rights. Others say it was over slavery. Right now, that's not what we're concerned about. So when the southern states threatened to withdraw from the Union, the United States basically said no, and if you try, we will send in the military to get you back under our control, and that's what happened. President Lincoln split the states up into districts and made himself the sole controller of the states and used the military to control the areas. The Congress got jealous of the president's power over these states and said that the president created illegal states, essentially calling himself the people. The people create states, not the president, not Congress, not small groups of people, but all the people in the state. Congress wanted to control the states themselves and claimed that because the president could not make laws for the states were created illegally. Congress then wanted to put the states under themselves and create what they called legal states. So Congress passed a law that allowed the government to contract with each individual. And the law was eventually passed. There are a few things going on here. The states of such as state of Texas, for example, it's not Texas. It's not the land seceded to the United States for defense purposes. Texas never ceded all of its lands to the United States. The United States went to war against its people, probably created in the first place over the issue of slavery. Not that it didn't need to be abolished. It certainly did. The states that the government had control over only were states for defense purposes, states created within the states. So when the government of the United States, that it has control over the federal areas, the free, sovereign, and independent states of the Union is an absolute lie. Let me restate that. The states that the government had control over only were the states created within the free, sovereign, and independent states for defense purposes only. So when the government of the United States says that it has control over the free, sovereign, and independent states, being the entire state, it's an absolute lie. It only has control, which is jurisdiction over the areas given up by the free, sovereign, and independent states for defense purposes. The government never had the right to take free land from free people or to put people under its power or authority or even to make laws for it because the Articles of Confederation made the free, sovereign, and independent states. The government played the game of words. People began to think they lived on federal lands, that all the lands are federal lands. They are not. They let us believe that they were in charge, that they made laws for us, that we have to use their courts, that they can ticket us, send us to jail. They cannot, unless, of course, you contract with them to let them do so. They can only ask you by way of consent, which is your signature on all their papers, which are offers to contract. It became a game. I'm not sure if it was intended to be a game from the beginning, but it sure did become one. They tricked and deceived and manipulated, and in my opinion, from the congressional records, it's that they knew, and they knew all along, but the hunger and thirst for power and money was so great that they continued with it. If the Congress can contract with each individual, which they can, we know that because it passed a law to do so, to bring them under its control, then it requires this contract to control the people. Why would it require this contract? Because they never had control in the first place. Congress takes bribes from corporations to pass laws. These laws are the ones that require you to agree. Agreements require consent. Once you consent, you're obligated. Congress and corporations know the contract law works. This is the law of the contracts. You consent and you must, therefore, comply. things of which they contract with you for. Birth certificates, creating a legal name, citizenships, so that you can pay the IRS, you can get a driver's license, opt in for Social Security. How wonderful! Then you ask, but if I don't consent, I can't get a job. Yes, of course, the corporations want control. They act innocent, but they and Congress all know what's going on. This is what they mean by you are a slave. If you want to be awake, this is your wake-up call. This is the fight. So Lincoln acted as the people when he created illegal states. Congress acted as the people when they created states to which they contracted with. And because contracts are legal and binding, they said they created legal states. One congressman called them out and said, President cannot be the people. Congress cannot be the people. Only the people inhabiting the state can be the people. So the next best thing they could do is contract with the people of the states, each individually. Here's a reading of the first sentence of the law, which it sounds like, if you live in a free country with Congress, gives itself power to take like everything, is not a free country. So, Section 14, and be it further enacted that in every state or district where the ordinary course of judicial proceedings has been interrupted by the rebellion, and until the same shall be fully restored, and in every state or district whose constitutional relations to the government have been practically discontinued by the rebellion, and until such state shall have been restored in such relations and shall be duly represented in Congress of the United States, the right to make and enforce contracts, to sue, be parties and give evidence, to inherit, purchase, lease, sell, hold, and convey real and personal property, and to have full and equal benefit of all laws and proceedings concerning personal liberty, personal security, and the acquisition, enjoyment, and disposition of estates, real and personal, including the constitutional right to bear arms, shall be secured to and enjoyed by all the citizens of such state or district without respect to race or color or previous condition of slavery.